Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you how the Eagles' decision to visit the White House could come back to haunt them.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why the Patriot fans might actually turn on Tom Brady. Speak for yourself starts now. I've got a theory on this.
That's almost as crazy as thinking Tupac's not the greatest rapper.
Oh, boy. Pre-show
hello and
argument.
welcome. We're joined today by former All-Star Kenyon Martin, who knows absolutely nothing about rap music, and NBA champion Eddie House. Let's start in Cleveland, where the Cavaliers jumped out to a huge lead and then held on to beat Boston and even the Eastern Conference Finals at 2-2. LeBron put up 44 in yet another monster game, and afterward talked about overpowering everyone the Celtics tried to throw at him.
I think this league is all predicated on trying to find mismatches. That's every team. And if you look at the 4 teams that's in the postseason now, I mean, Houston is trying to find mismatches. Golden State is trying to find mismatches. Boston and us as well. We're all just trying to find mismatches for all of us to try to be successful offensively. So I don't think it's not much of a secret.
He's the best in the game at, evaluating the court and figuring out what he wants and where he wants it. It's the best 2 out of 3 to go to the NBA Finals. Doesn't get better than that. I mean, ultimately, anybody that didn't think this was going to be tough, I mean, everything is tough. And, in this deal, it's a blast to have to grit your teeth, get up off the mat, and go after it again.
Cowherd, LeBron now has all the momentum. Did he eliminate the Celtics last night?
No, these are okay teams. We have a great team left, Golden State. That's a great team. We have a good team, Houston. And then we have a bunch of guys. I mean, these teams can't win on the road. Last 2 games, Boston is out of it 8 minutes in. Come on now. Very good teams put up a fight. Great teams can win. These 2 teams can't win a road game.
LeBron has proven, and the Cavaliers have proven, they can win on the road. It's Boston that has proven they can't. LeBron James, they've unleashed the monster. And I think these kids in Boston had a nice run. It's been great, but they've overachieved. And I think Brad Stevens is a great coach. But at the end of the day, a coach is limited to what his players can do. And LeBron can do everything, and so that gives Ty Lue more options of what he can do with his team. I think it's curtains. This series is over. LeBron took control of it last night. I don't think Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, the kid, Terry Rozier,
You trust
the kid.
I trust
LeBron
Cavs
James.
roster.
I trust LeBron James.
Yeah.
As so do I. I just think, it's a mental edge. I think the way they lost Game 3, Boston that is, and then coming back and Cleveland jumping on them again, I think Cleveland has a recipe now. And LeBron, like you said, like Brad said, he's the best at figuring the game plan out during the course of the game. So the series is over. I think Cleveland closes out in 6. I was telling people yesterday, if Cleveland win last night, they finished them off in 6.
I agree with you with the fact that last night was pivotal for the Celtics to win if they had a chance to win this series. But losing, it's over. This series done with. And I'm 6 or 7, obviously. Yeah. But I think that Boston might go back because they are a different animal at home. It seems like the crowd energizes them. They have a little bit more energy. And that, I think that's been their problem is they don't know how to harness that energy from home and bring it on the road. And that's part of being young and maturing. But there's no way. They don't have LeBron James. Now, I think their back is all the way up against the wall, Boston is, and this is going to be a learning experience for them. Just like when LeBron lost in 2011, he has to lose sometimes to know how to win. I'm not a big fan of that, but sometimes that's just the nature of the beast, and that's how it goes. So I see a young Boston team taking this and learning from this, and then adding Hayward and Kyrie Irving being extremely dangerous next year and a real threat to come out of the East.
If I said to you, next game for Cleveland, outside of LeBron, who will deliver? Nobody knows. On the road, these guys, we know LeBron will be great. Who's going to deliver for Cleveland on the road in Game 5?
There's something LeBron does, the King is talking about mentally. When you're out on the court with a 6'9", 265-pound guy that you sit there, everybody gets a taste of LeBron because they switch and everybody gets dominated by him. And that's mentally taxing on you. That's where I think Boston's at. It's like when George Foreman was so dominant as a boxer, he would just overwhelm you. And there is no Muhammad Ali answer for LeBron James when he starts overwhelming you with those blows and punches. You just melt. I guess Golden State would be the Muhammad Ali.
Definitely not.
As a
There's
group,
no Muhammad in the East.
As a group, they can. But stopping LeBron's punches, I want to throw a slight curveball. I listened to them talk about LeBron last night, and it started to remind me of the way broadcasters talked about Larry Bird in his heyday. And LeBron has that same swagger in a different way that Larry Bird, he was so stupefying. Like, how can this white cat that can barely jump, how can he dominate us like that? And it was mesmerizing. And the broadcasters now, when they talk about LeBron, he's here 2 hours before the game, shooting up. Kyle Korver last night was like, he holds us all accountable because why aren't you here at practice 15 minutes early? I was here an hour early. This is all the kind of stuff they said about Larry Bird, and it's all true about LeBron. He really is a genius at basketball and figuring out different matchups and figuring out how to mentally dominate. Go back to what he did to Draymond Green when they came down 3-1. I got to give the dude credit. At Buffalo Wild Wings, we'll admit that we often go overboard with our limited time offerings. We just can't help ourselves. Take our new signature sampler. For $15, you get wings and 3 shareable options like fried pickles or cheese curds. Then there's our aptly named over-the-top nachos, a literal mountain of crispy tortilla chips loaded with your choice of pulled pork or honey barbecue grilled chicken, corn, jalapenos, and more. Then top it all off with our new platinum margarita. Go overboard with us today at Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Available for a limited time while supplies last. Please drink responsibly.
Whether the series is over or not, one thing is certain. LeBron is having one of the most impressive playoff runs ever in NBA history, recording his 6th 40-point game last night, the most in a single playoff since Allen Iverson dragged the Sixers to the NBA Finals back in 2001. When you stack LeBron's numbers head-to-head against Iverson's that year, LeBron scoring more and shooting a higher percentage, though Iverson accounted for more of his team's total points. Whitlock, is what LeBron doing more impressive than AI?
I looked into this morning when this topic came up, and I think it's very, very close. You can kind of go either way on this.
Cut that off. Stop.
You can go either way.
Stop that. You can't go either way, brother. There's no way you could go either way with this.
Then who?
Allen Iverson is so much harder for what Allen Iverson did at his size, his slight build. He's always on the floor. What he's doing is way more impressive than what LeBron is doing because LeBron, you just hit on it. How big is he? 6'9", 260. He could play bully ball. Allen Iverson can't play bully ball. And how many times was AI, pound for pound, how many times was AI getting knocked to the floor, getting right back up? And the way he can electrify the crowd, not only with his crossover, but the way he scores, man. It was just unbelievable. It was hard to guard. I actually had to guard him. So I played with LeBron. I had to guard AI. AI never stopped moving. He never took a play off, and he played hard on both sides of the court. He didn't take rest on defense.
What?
There's a difference.
How?
There's a difference between a heavyweight, Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis.
Okay.
You never hear him compared to Sugar Ray Robinson or Sugar Ray Leonard.
But this basketball, not boxing.
No, it's about LeBron, and what he's doing is every bit as impressive as what Iverson did. Iverson's
it's a lot easier. Listen, this NBA is a lot easier for LeBron James. The rules benefit LeBron James at being 6'8", 260, and you can run where you want to. There's no resistance, no hand checking, freedom of movement. AI was going, listen, I put AI on his butt one game. Me and him met, I laid him out, got up, told me I like that. I hit LeBron like that, LeBron go lay there, grab his face. It's a difference. That man is a bad man at his size.
LeBron is...
Your size.
LeBron, well, I'm pretty ripped. But LeBron, his efficiency is remarkable. If I told you a movie made $300 million, but then I told you the budget was $300 million, you'd be like, that's not very efficient. LeBron is literally... He's 56%, over half the shots he let go. Now, Iverson had this Westbrook thing where you're like, man, it's just activity. He is going a million miles an hour.
There we go
He
against my
snuck
guy
it. He
again.
had to sneak him in.
See,
He
you
goes-
always
he
go
sneak
sneak.
in.
Listen,
No,
always
he go
go
in.
throw shots at
Sneak
my
in
guy.
Westbrook every
You're gonna
time.
throw shots at the
No,
guy.
I want efficiency. You got to tell me when you're giving me 38% from the floor, that's just a lot of movement. Is it efficient?
But who else did they out? Listen, who else did Allen Iverson
Larry
have
Brown.
on his team?
One of the great
On
coaches.
his team.
Dikembe Mutombo, the defensive player of the
But that's
year.
an offensive liability, though.
7
Offensive
foot
liability.
defensive player.
But he's an
Defense wins
offensive liability,
championships.
though.
How
He
many
had nothing to do with the
tell
30
me.
points
Who
Dikembe
do you
scored?
get? Again, I'll say it, Game 5 in
He
Boston.
had Aaron, listen,
Who's going to
who was their
score for
second leading
Cleveland?
scorer on the Philadelphia team?
Aaron
at the time?
McKee, probably.
And
Eric Snow.
Eric
Snow.
Snow.
see, yeah,
You don't even know his name.
You don't even know his name.
He had a brother,
So who is
Percy,
who is the
football
best player throughout AI's tenure that he played with the Philadelphia 76ers? Would
Probably
you,
Dikembe Mutombo, defensive player of the
Iguodala.
year.
Derek Coleman?
Iguodala, maybe.
Oh, wow. Andre Iguodala's
Just
been
think
around that
about
long?
it. You know what I'm saying? But just think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like the talent level.
He had Larry Brown. He had Dikembe Mutombo. They won 56
But they didn't have
games in a
nothing to do
with
regular
him
him.
putting the ball
Because
in the
of
hole,
why
though.
did they win 56 games?
They were the number 1 seed.
Why
And
did they?
what
why
were
was they
But why
supposed
did
to
they
do.
win 56 games? Why was they number 1 seed?
LeBron is playing, and again, I think this is very
He
close.
was a 4th seed in this NBA. This man a 1 seed in the.
It's
playing
not
with
close,
brand
Jay.
new teammates.
Jay, it's
That
not
he
close.
just got in February.
But if he's arguably the best player in the game,
Playing with Ty Lue,
That's a
injured
championship
Kevin
coach.
Love.
That's a championship
Oh,
coach.
come on.
Kevin Love, multi-year
Kevin Love,
All-Star, right?
Future Hall of Famer.
Future
Kevin
Hall of
Love.
Famer, right?
It's not Larry Brown, one of the greatest coaches ever. Everywhere Larry Brown
But,
went,
hey, Larry Brown-
championships
Did they
followed
get
him.
along?
Larry Brown didn't
So you mentioned
shoot
Larry
one
Brown,
jumper.
Larry Brown and AI. Did they get along?
No, but
Exactly.
did he
So-
get the best out of AI? He
You
did.
can sit over there and AI gonna give you the best.
Hey, I want to.
You could have coached the Philadelphia 76ers then, and guess what AI was gonna average?
Okay, what the coach got to do with him putting the ball in the hole?
Nah, 10.
Nothing. He didn't help me put the
10.
ball. Who was getting hit and put on the ground, and who was the one bouncing back up, going right back to the
You
rack?
guys like Iverson because the small athlete overcame. I don't care. Just give me the numbers.
No,
I'll
we
take
talking
the
about
bigger guy who's more efficient.
You tell me you don't like stats, but you always yelling stats. You just gave me something right now. But
Okay.
listen, so LeBron is so big and so
dominant.
strong. We talking about what's more impressive. It's more impressive that AI did that. I expect LeBron to be able to get away with bully ball. Look how he's scoring on Terry Rozier. It's so easy. So easy. Think about how he's getting trapped every time AI touched the ball.
Yes.
He's getting a chance to go one-on-one, LeBron is. AI never got an opportunity to play
Let me ask you
one-on-one
this.
ball.
If you could hand check LeBron James, would he be like? If you could hand check him,
I don't know, he's so strong.
you know what I'm saying? But if you can get into him and play him the way guys played AI and them early, like late 90s, early 2000s team, if you can get into him that way,
What's gonna
still
happen?
be great.
He's not gonna be the
still
MVP?
Still be great, but it's a difference, man, the way he has to approach the game. You know what I'm saying? Right now, there's no resistance from him. When's the last time you heard somebody say somebody scored an easy 44?
They didn't even know that he's had 40.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how soft it was.
Just think about it. When was the last time you heard anybody say somebody an easy 44?
You
That
44
don't happen.
loud.
You score 44, you put in work. You know what I'm saying? On 28 shots? Come on, man. Like,
I tend to lean with y'all on Iverson just because of his size, but it's close, man. What LeBron's doing is historic,
He's
man.
great. Like,
He's gonna
it is.
finish with like 8 40-point games in this play. In this
I'm
playoff.
with you.
As of right
probably more
now,
than
what
that.
was more
I got him going for 50 the next one. In Boston, I got him going for like 50.
If you allow LeBron to play
I'm saying.
one-on-one with Terry Rozier in the post and no double team comes, it's going to be easy. I mean, that's easy money right there. That's like him being in the gym
Scored
with nobody
30
on
of
him.
his 44
AI was
points in
getting
the paint.
doubled every time he touched the ball. He never got an opportunity to play one-on-one.
Scored 30 of his 44 points in the paint, man. Something like that. Like, that's
Easy money.
Welcome back. We're joined now by Fox NFL analyst, aspiring actor, 14-time Pro Bowler, eligible for the Hall of Fame next year, Tony Gonzalez. Let's move to the National Football League. Brett Favre, who talked with Peter King over the weekend and revealed more about his struggle with substance abuse during his career, admitting he actually went to rehab 3 times for pills and alcohol, and that he was in the grip of addiction during his '95 MVP season, explaining, quote, "When I woke up in the morning, my first thought was, I got to get more pills. I took 14 Vicodin. Yeah, one time I was getting an hour or 2 sleep many nights, maybe 30 minutes of quality sleep. I was the MVP in a pain pill buzz. I actually went to rehab 3 times. Whitlock, Your thoughts on Favre's comments?
I'm a huge Brett Favre fan, and I'm someone that was, not quite John Madden enthusiastic about Brett Favre, but I was right there. I loved the way Favre played and enjoyed the game. I don't know how I feel about these comments because I'm wondering how they're going to land with young players, Odell Beckham Jr., anybody, any kid, to think that, damn, Brett Favre is admitting he played his best football while hyped up on Vicodin and booze and and just living this party lifestyle. But Lawrence Taylor did too. And when I was in Kansas City, I can't speak to the drugs, but I know Derek Thomas loved to party and loved to drink and played really good football for a stretch. And so it's kind of commonplace, but I don't know how I feel about him talking about this again.
I don't think to me, athletes and rock stars are performing. A small number are so gifted, they can probably perform under the influence. But I don't think that's normal. I think 95% of guys got to get their sleep, eat right. But I think there are guys, the Rolling Stones have probably had a few concerts with a hangover. I can't do it. I got to get my sleep. I could never do it. I don't know. I mean, I think this just tells me Favre and Lawrence Taylor are all-timers. They can go on stage half in the bag and occasionally perform.
How would you when I look around at looking at my career too, I played with Derek Thomas, played with Andre Rice, and you talk about, I was good friends with Dennis Rodman for a while and got on that train. We went to Vegas, Miami, all over the country and partying. And we would go out and we'd get home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then he would call my room at 9:30 in the morning, like, let's go work out, and get right back. It's like the mentality of that. And I guess my point is, guys like this, great athletes, great men, I don't care if it's a politician, I don't care, they have that dark side of, they like to party. And I don't even know if I want to call it a dark side, but there's something about having fun. They need that release because they're going so hard in their sport that there's got to be some type of release. You look around, you look at, you hear rumors about great athletes, Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, all these guys. What do? They like to gamble. They like to go out and they like to party, they like to have drinks. Tiger Woods. There's always, if you look at most great men, Clinton, there's always something there that they have to go to release all that pressure because you're going so hard. And myself, for example, I think my first 2 years in the league, I was doing everything by the book. I was working hard. I showed up to practice. Now, I switched a couple things. I did start catching balls before practice, after practice, during practice. But I also said, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to be so tight. I need to have that release because I'm putting so much into it. Sure. You've got to have that release. And this is part of it. Now, it's an extreme case of it, and I hope he follows it up saying that's not how you need to do it. You got to have some balance. I don't know if you need pain pills like that. I don't think you do. But I do believe there is something about great men having a pressure valve, a release button.
I would say this. This sort of fits his profile. Peyton Manning, I'd be shocked. But
I'm not sure if I would be.
Brett Favre was a gambler. I mean, he lived on the edge the way he played. Mike Holmgren calls a play. I'm going away from it. He threw the ball. He had a Joe Namath partier. He had a Joe Namath style. He was a risk taker.
I want to be clear on my comments about Peyton Manning. The Vicodin, the drugs, but in terms of a quarterback that likes to have a drink and have a good time, I think that may be all of them to some degree. Tom Brady may be the exception. It seems like during the season, he won't drink grape juice, let alone, wine or anything else. But I do think there's something, when you're a celebrity and you're on stage all the time, every time you go out in public, people are talking about you, maybe there is something to, I need a little bit of buzz just to cope with this, just to cope with the expectations, because again, people think that money and fame are the greatest thing in the world. And not all the time it is, because your family, your friends, their expectations, the way they treat you, that sometimes is a heavy pressure.
I would be more bothered. I believe very few players love the game. Favre loved the game. I can deal with his flaws.
But there is a great book called Relentless, and it's written, I think his name's Tim Grover. He was Michael Jordan's trainer from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so he talks about Michael Jordan's mentality. And there's a whole section on this greatness and this dark side and this release. He worked with Kobe Bryant. He said every star athlete that he's ever worked with, every businessman he's ever worked with, they have a little something, whether it's gambling, boozing, partying, going out with extracurricular activities. Like it's there because those men cannot operate at that level without some type of release. And I'm sure Tom, Peyton, like I said, I started to have more fun. I started going out. I remember you wrote an article on me. You said the nightlife king should be passed on to Tony Gonzalez. Derek Thomas needs to put it up. And I took that panel and I ran with it and had a great time while I was playing some good football.
Colin, one of the things you've never had to deal with that Tony and I have is just when you're remarkably good looking, it puts a pressure on you that, you know, there's a dark side. It's hard to overcome. All right, welcome back to the show. Tony Gonzalez is back. We're joined now by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. We'll have more on Brady in a minute. But let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles, who have officially accepted an invitation from Donald Trump to celebrate their Super Bowl title at the White House on June 5th. Coach Doug Peterson says it's an individual decision if players will attend, with Carson Wentz already saying he's going, while politically active players like Malcolm Jenkins and Chris Long previously said they would not. Cowherd, are you worried this could be a divide in their locker room?
You know, it's interesting because my take on politics is it's never easy. It's not easy at the dinner table. It's not easy talking about with your parents, and it's not easy at work. The media has you believe, oh, Warriors, they're political. No, they're all anti-Trump. Politics is easy when everybody agrees. If you're in a room with 8 people, they all hated Reagan or Obama, well, politics is easy. But when you do get into a locker room and somebody's like, make America great again, and maybe African-American players are like, you know what that means, right? So am I worried? I don't know if I'm worried because I think Philadelphia has a bunch of grown-ups. Howie Long's son, Malcolm Jenkins. They're not divisive guys. They're not seeking attention. They did this the way grown-ups handle this. That's like, we're communicating, we're talking. But this idea that politics, oh, they're great at work and they're great in locker rooms. They're hard everywhere when you get differing opinions.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit dangerous. I'm glad they made the decision to go, but I do think there's likely going to be repercussions. Just look at what happened with Pittsburgh and their offensive tackle, Villanueva, on the whole national anthem stance.
Yeah.
And that turned into a thing inside their locker room. And so Malcolm Jenkins is on the record saying, look, I'm probably not going to go. I'm not going to judge the guys that do go. I'm going to leave it alone. That's Malcolm Jenkins. Does everybody in that locker room feel that way? Will Michael Bennett think something if Lane Johnson or Carson Wentz go and ham it up with Trump or whatever? Will they pass some sort of judgment? Because that is where we're at in this society. It's like there's this group saying you can't associate with Trump at all or you're a horrible human being. It's an irrational position in my view. But that is where we are, and social media puts pressure on this as well. I think this could get a little dicey.
I remember when I played back with the Chiefs, President Bush came out to one of the practices during our summer league camp or whatever, and it was when Coach Vermeil was there, and he was like, it's mandatory. You guys have to come and say hello to the President of the United States. You don't get this opportunity too often, yada, yada. Still, a couple guys missed. A couple guys didn't come, and I remember a couple of linemen on the team were getting mad, and it did seem like a black and white issue. But I don't think it hurt us. We weren't very good that year. But I didn't see that it would hurt. And so a situation like this, just like you said, politics and religion, those things are such touchy subjects, and especially in this day and age, we got Twitter and social media. You can voice your
amplifies
opinion.
everything.
It amplifies everything. But I like it, though, because he said you don't have to go. If you don't want to go, then don't go. And it's the off season too. By the time the season starts, I don't see this being that big of an issue. It might be something that's divisive for a couple, 3 or 4 days. And like everything else, it's going to be forgotten by next week, and we'll be on to something else.
For the kickoff opening week, you'll have forgotten about the White House visit. But I got to ask you guys, when you look at this situation of, I'm going to stay home, I'm not going to go to the White House, I just look at it as, wait a sec, if you're so against all the politics, this is your one time to have that audience, to, sit there in front of him and speak your mind to the president if you disagree with him. Why would you turn that option down? To me, going on social media and ranting about the president and his policies, that's hollow. You're speaking to people who already agree with you. Why not go to the White House, whether it's Malcolm Jenkins or the defensive lineman, and just speak your mind to Trump? This is your option. And it doesn't.
I agree with you, McIntyre.
One of the reasons that Philadelphia's politics haven't been unsettling is, let's give Malcolm Jenkins credit. Malcolm Jenkins has done politics how I wish all politicians. He's not divisive. He's not seeking attention. He's okay if he disagrees with your stand. Like, the key for Philadelphia's political discussions, I think, is Malcolm. He's very respectful. I wish our politicians were. I wish our media was. I wish people on social media were. But if Malcolm Jenkins was immature and was divisive and was doing it for attention, this wouldn't be as easy. It's easier because of him.
It is, until someone on that team, look, Carson Wentz seems enthusiastic. And so now it's going to be crystal clear this dude voted for Trump, likes Trump. And again, and maybe it's not true, but that's the appearance. And there's going to be some other guys, because trust me, there's some black dudes in that locker room that voted for Trump. That's one of the biggest lies being told, that all these rich NFL black players, 70% of the league is African American, and they're all making a bunch of money, and none of them pull that Republican lever. That's a lie. And so when those things become crystal clear to guys, like, oh, that could create some tension.
To New England, where Tom Brady still hasn't shown up at Patriots camp, it's supposed to be a voluntary camp, wink, wink, making him the only starting quarterback in the NFL to miss his team's OTAs. Wow. Not that Bill Belichick wants to talk about it.
Bill, Tom's not here today. Have you guys spoken at length about...
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the people that aren't here. The guys that are here are improving. They're working hard, and those are the guys we're going to focus on.
Is it challenging to not have your starting quarterback, to be using your backup and your third-string quarterback?
All the guys that are here, not everybody's working, but all the guys that are out here working are improving, and it's a great opportunity for them and for our team to come together. That's what's happening.
All right, Belichick may be keeping quiet. Boston Globe isn't, writing, quote, Brady is putting a giant bullseye on his chest, setting himself up to take a lot of criticism if things don't work out this fall. And fans don't always embrace millionaire athletes who complain about being underpaid and underappreciated. Even athletes named Tom Brady. Whitlock, could this hurt Brady's rep?
Hell no. No. The guy's won 5 Super Bowls. Fans, he's a model-type athlete in terms of looks. If they got a choice between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, who just blew the Super Bowl with his Malcolm Butler decision, they're going to turn on Belichick. He's the guy. Brady's been taking less money for years. He's put up with all of Belichick's crap. If they turn on anybody, it'll be Belichick.
I totally disagree. Belichick looks like a Patriot fan. He's poorly dressed, do your job. His whole mantra is relatable. Hey, go to work, you do your job. That's what every Boston fan's dad told him. You just go to work, you do your job. One guy's a vegan. One guy, fast food, I'm hungry. One guy's married to a supermodel. One guy's not even married. He's too busy working and providing. I think Belichick has a very, most millionaires aren't relatable. I think Belichick is...
Oh, Belichick's relatable. You just watched that video.
Average Boston fan, he's cranky.
Talk about the people that are here.
Okay, you know what, though? You know what he is, though? He's a do-your-job, show up, don't worry about appearances.
And I'll bench Malcolm Butler when I feel like it. Well, that's who he is.
They'll forget that pretty quick when they win the AFC.
No, they won't.
Whitlock, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but you're starting to sway me on this Brady-Belichick thing. It like dawned on me just now before the show. We're working on strategies and ideas, and I say, wait a sec. Tom Brady has all the leverage now, all of it. He forced them to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. He can now say, I don't need the OTAs. What are you going to do, Belichick? Put in the backup, the rookie 6th rounder you drafted? I hadn't seen it this way, but Brady actually can just kind of, turn his lip up and look the other way at Belichick. He has no power right now. Bill Belichick has none. That looked like an angry guy to me. I'm shocked, Whitlock. You've done it again.
Do you think even if this does hurt his reputation, you think Tom gives a care at this point in his career? I really believe Tom is probably not going to play past 2 more years. I see it 2-3 more years at the most. I just think at this point in his career, he's saying, look, I've given you guys the discount, the hometown discount all these years. Give me a little cash. I don't want to be paid $30 million like those other guys, but just he's making $14 million this year. We're talking about Tom Brady, one of the best of all time, is making $14 million. Give him a little bit of money. Give him some. He doesn't need the money. It's not. Him and his wife are worth $500 million. It's not about getting an extra $4 or $5 million for him. It's about respect and pay me the money. And I think at this point, it's 2-3 years left. He's just going to do it his way. He's going out like Frank Sinatra. I'm going to do it my way.
You've done this. You said this before. Just listen, man, he carried the water. He's done carrying the water. Doesn't mean he's not going to be a great player, a great quarterback, but he's done carrying the water.
Okay, Colin, hold on. Now, he falls off a cliff this year and Tom Brady's stats tumble. He's 41 years old. And he got Jimmy Garoppolo traded. You don't think the city of Boston's going to turn on Tom Brady at this point?
No, I do.
Okay.
I think fans turn on players.
They do, but this is so clear-cut what's going on with Brady. Boston fans aren't stupid. They're some of the smartest people in the world. They read books. Great writers come out of that area. And so they're going to sit there and go, okay, Brady did everything by the book, took less money, and Bill Belichick did one of the most crazy, deceitful, unexplained things in the history of the Super Bowl, wouldn't play Malcolm Butler, and Brady got mad about it. I don't blame him. If Belichick explains himself, apologizes, says something to the team, you're right.
Yeah.
But he hasn't done any of those things, so Tom's actions look justified.
By the way, those people that read books also read the 22-page article where essentially Brady got Jimmy Garoppolo traded because he went to the owner, and they usurped Belichick's power. And so Belichick, if the team struggles, people are like, yeah, Belichick didn't want to trade Garoppolo, and Brady made him trade Garoppolo.
The guy with 5 Super Bowls made him trade Garoppolo.
Well, how many does
They'll
Belichick
get over
have?
that.
Belichick's got 5.
You know how many Garoppolo has that he's earned? 0. And so I don't think, look, people are like, hey, would we rather have Garoppolo for the next 15 years? Yes. But we had Tom for all this time, and he's played it the right way. He's been nothing but a stand-up guy. Garoppolo's making more money than Brady, and Brady's the MVP of the league. Brady's side of the argument is so easy to understand. He's done so much for that community. He's never gotten in trouble. Nothing.
I like what you're saying there, though, because could it be Tom Brady at this point, too, as well? The Super Bowl, Malcolm Butler getting benched. He's like, okay, you want to do it? You think you're doing things your way? I thought winning was the most important thing around here. We don't do anything to jeopardize wins. And you did that? Well, you know what? I'm going to start doing things my way, too. And I'm on my way out anyway, so you can think whatever you want. I've given you guys everything I've got. It's time for me to get paid or at least get somewhat appreciated. Get a reward for taking the hometown discount. Go back over his career. What he's made over his career, what he has left, $50, $60 million on the table. That's a lot of money over his whole career. I'm willing to bet it's been around that much money. I think at this point, just pay him what he wants. Just give it to him.
Admit Belichick is wrong.
I will admit that his Super Bowl move was not one of his better ones.
And it's blowing up this
That
team.
blowing up. It's
blowing
not,
up the Patriot way. He's damaged his relationship with Tom
How many
Brady.
games? You know the last game they played? They were in the Super Bowl. Ain't blowing that much up.
And they're probably going to go to the Super Bowl again this year. So.
Welcome back. Kenyon Martin, Eddie House are here. Let's move to the Rockets. Down 2-1 to the Warriors. Chance to even the series tonight, though, in the Bay. But if that's going to happen, they'll need a better game out of Chris Paul. Struggled in his first conference finals appearance, with big drops in points, and shooting, percentage, and assists compared to his stellar first 2 rounds this year. Whitlock is CP3 hurting his legacy with his performance in this round.
Unfortunately, yes. I feel sympathetic towards him. I think that Golden State puts so much pressure on you at the offensive end that he's just cracking. You know, you're expected to do so much against Golden State at both ends of the court. And when you're playing their offense with that constant movement and all those different weapons, it's affecting him on Houston's offensive end as well. But I have to acknowledge, yeah, it's hurting his legacy.
But I think his legacy is already, he's a very, very good player. But I don't think people see him as an all-time great. And so in these playoffs, he's been inconsistent, often a very good player. He's Phillip Rivers. If Phillip Rivers loses a playoff game, people don't crush him. Because we know he's not Brady, Rodgers, Big Ben.
Wants to be Isaiah Thomas. That's who he really wants to be.
Well, there's a lot of things I want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. When I look at him, I think it's more Harden. He'll take the beating in the press and from the fans, because last year he quit in the last game. If he gets rolled in this, we're going to go, okay, yeah, he can't. Once the big boy basketball starts, Harden checks out.
Yeah, I don't think it's hurting CP legacy no more than what people has already said about him not being able to get out of the second round. I think it just adds something to it. I don't think it's anything that nobody else hadn't said up to this point.
Right.
I'm saying he's a great regular season player, makes great numbers, but hasn't been out of the second round.
That's his legacy.
That's his legacy.
That's
what
who
it
he
is.
is.
So I don't think it's
Cements it.
So I don't think it's hurting that part.
I think your word, it cements it.
Yeah,
it validates what most people thought.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it hurts his legacy. I think his legacy is already set. He's a future Hall of Famer. We've seen Tracy McGrady not get out of the first round of the playoffs and still become a Hall of Famer. That didn't taint Tracy McGrady's legacy. Your legacy is if you get to the Hall of Fame and your body of work. Chris Paul will go down as one of the better point guards that ever played this game. But the fact of the matter, everybody can't win. Everybody's not going to be able to win. Everybody's not going to win championship. Everybody's not going to get to conference finals and perform. But I would like to see his performance step up a little bit, because I think right now the ISO game is not only killing the rest of the team and the team as a whole. I think it's killing CP's game. He's more of a guy that likes to get in the lane, create for other people. But when you're going ISO basketball one-on-one and everybody's just staying at home, it's really tough on him, and they're guarding him with length. So it's a little bit harder for him to get his shot off.
Happiness is about expectations. And Chris Paul's expectations is, he's running the Players Union, same as Isaiah Thomas. He's considered one of the most forceful personalities in the NBA, same as Isaiah Thomas. He thinks of himself as one of the smartest players in the NBA, same as Isaiah Thomas. He wants to be Isaiah Thomas. I know. That's what I'm saying. And Isaiah got 2 titles with the Pistons. And so that's what I'm saying. He's falling short of that. And that's why I think this is damage to his legacy, the legacy he wants to have.
I don't think it's bad to want to emulate somebody or try to be like somebody and do everything that person did, especially when the guy was successful. Like Isaiah Thomas, you look at what Kobe did with Michael Jordan, all the way down to the walk, almost to the talk.
He got the 5 titles, though.
Yeah,
Kobe's happy with what he
accomplished. Yeah, I know he got his 5 titles,
but
I don't think that to answer the question, this is not going to hurt his legacy. He's still going to be a Hall of Famer. People will just have something to say like, he didn't win a championship.
He wanted more.
I know a handful of cats that's out there that's in the Hall of Fame that didn't win a championship.
Chris Paul isn't the only guy with some pressure on him in tonight's Game 4. But while most people think the Rockets are feeling the heat down 2-1 and on the road, Mike D'Antoni says the opposite is true.
Right now, to me, Golden State has all the pressure. They got to win tomorrow night. We should come in with a little bit of a swagger and giddy up in our game and see if we can get it.
He's right. I mean, we're at home. So if they win, they have home court advantage. So, yeah, pressure's on us. And it's kind of on them, too.
Neither guy believes that.
This is the foolish comment.
D'Antoni's fooling himself, and Kerr's rolling his eyes at what he said. Bottom line, when I have the better team, if I was Mike D'Antoni, knowing I'm facing a dynasty, I would just be lavishing praise. Man, Whitlock, he's the best coach. That team is, because the only way Golden State loses this series is apathy, is overconfidence. That's the only, personnel-wise, Golden State's better. If I'm facing a dynasty, I am telling that dynasty, they are so good, I can't believe we can even stay close. Players hear it. Yeah. Maybe you get one's a little cocky. The last thing I'm saying is, pressure's on them. We're in the catbird seat. That just motivates the Warriors to me.
And this is why I'm not a D'Antoni fan. He's silly to me.
The fact that he himself used the word swagger, you shouldn't believe nothing after that. He lost me after he said swagger.
Why?
Man, go out and coach your team. That shouldn't be part of your analysis, the way your team need to go out and play. How about we play you use the word defense.
Right, that's the word.
That's words you need to be using regularly when you talk, if you're trying to coach your team through the media. You need to go up there and hold the word definition of defense and passing right up under each other. Like, them the words you need to be concentrating
Swagger's
on.
not really coaching.
Not at all. Not in this situation.
He's trying to be cool, but when you look at him say it,
Cool get
you
you beat
could
every time.
tell you right about that. You could tell that he don't even believe what he's saying. He's trying to talk himself into it.
Thank
His eyes
you.
is big.
Yes.
Stop lying to yourself and your team, please. Please.
I
You know what I
totally
mean?
agree.
And Steve Kerr was facetiously over there like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, the pressure, he's right. It is on us. Yeah, right. The pressure, he ain't feeling no pressure. The pressure is all on Houston. He's trying to defuse it.
D'Antoni was saying something that was obviously to get his team. He's worried about his team. He's worried about the confidence of his team. So he's saying, we should come out with swagger, because he just watched this team quit.
I think, and I said this last week, and they showed it in the end bump to coming out of commercial. He's a one-trick pony. He's got his little gimmicky offense, and that's it. And he doesn't know how to coach his team through the media. He's afraid to challenge them during the game. He's throwing around buzzwords, swagger, and things like that, rather than actual coaching points. He's called them soft. Now they need swagger. All of this. He doesn't have another card to play because he has his one trick. We run a little gimmicky offense that scores a lot of points, and it's great during the regular season. And now we're in postseason, and he's stuck.
I don't want to believe that, but there's some truth to it. I always compared him to Chip Kelly, who created a system, and then he'd play Ohio State, and he'd be like, all right, this system doesn't work.
Yes.
We don't have a second gear.
I played with D'Antoni in Phoenix, and it's a lot of fun to play with. I had my best numbers statistically with that team. It's a free-flowing offense. It's a lot of fun, but we didn't stress a lot defensively. And the one thing that I do notice about him, he doesn't like confrontation, number one. When you need confrontation if you're trying to win a championship, friction from your coach, and it makes everybody better. That's competitive spirit. He doesn't have that. And then the other thing he lacks is adjustments. I'm talking about from game to game, series to series, from quarter to quarter. He doesn't have any in-game adjustments. He doesn't have any series adjustments. He just stubbornly says, this is the system that I'm running. This is how we're going to play. And we don't have no defense either.
Well, you heard this old saying before. You can't change the stripes on the zebra or the spots on the left.
Welcome back. Time for last call. Let's move to the Panthers OTAs, where our buddy Troy Aikman was hanging out with new offensive coordinator Norv Turner, who apparently thinks he can fix Cam Newton's accuracy problems. Colin, do you trust Norv to straighten out Cam?
I would have if Cam was introduced to the league with Norv, but I think Cam's got some bad habits. He's now rich. He's got an MVP. Harder to break those habits. I think it's a little late. I think Cam's game's been established. He's an imprecise thrower.
You make fair points. Cam wants to be great, man. He's tired of not being back in the Super Bowl. He wants to be an MVP again. I think he's going to come in with 2 ears and 2 eyes and 1 mouth, and he's going to take some direction from Norv Turner. I think they got a shot here at elevating Cam.
Well, Norv makes quarterbacks better, that's for sure.